Hi folks, it's Ryan Burns, DB Cooper Sleuth, and today I'm going to be reacting to we drank 12 beers and found DB Cooper from the channel Friday Beers. They have 113,000 subscribers. I have no idea what this is going to be. Probably another McCoy video, perhaps a Recca video, which that would be interesting. But we'll see what they have to say. So again, I have no idea what this channel does or what they're about. But some people are saying I should react to it. So here we go.
Welcome back to Cold Cases. I'm here with Rusty and Kaysen. Each of these guys is going to drink a case of Friday beers. Once they drink a beer, they'll unlock a new piece of evidence. And once they've had all 12 beers and looked at all 12 pieces of evidence,
yarn me, brother!
They'll have to decide what happened to notorious hijacker DB Cooper.
Dave and Buster. At the moment of eruption, I will become lava, man.
You guys ready?
Ready, man. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. I think we should set the scene a little bit while you drink this first beer, right?
Please, set it up.
Day before Thanksgiving, 1971, a guy goes and buys an airline ticket at the Portland, Oregon airport, pays in cash, which was a thing you could do. You could just walk in and pay in cash, gets on the plane, no security, mid-flight.
I mean, I don't know what kind of post-millennials these are, but you can still pay for things in cash. Just didn't know if people knew that. But yes, you can still, I'm not sure why you're surprised for paying things with cash, but it is still legal tender, okay? Cash money, so.
Reveals that he has a bomb and makes ransom demands. When the flight lands in Seattle, they bring him his demands. He releases all the passengers, keeps the crew on, and then he says, take my ass to Mexico City. About 30 minutes into that flight, something happens, and when it lands for a refueling stop in Reno, he's not there, and somebody lowered the stairs that they have. Literally has never been seen since. None of the money has ever been used or seen in distribution, and we don't know.
I just want to say I'm very happy to be doing this.
I mean, that threw me for a loop there because he said none of the money has been seen or used in distribution, but I mean, obviously $6,000 of it has been seen, found in February 1980 by Mr. Brian Ingram. So not off to a good start, but I don't know. The semantics there were kind of interesting. He could have been talking about just circulation, but we'll see.
Doing this with you guys.
Oh, listen, if there's one thing I've learned about you guys, it's pictures speak louder than words.
Totally. Great. Okay, can I ask you a question, William?
Yeah.
So these are the same thing, right? One's just in color?
These are the same, but these were like the original drawings.
And then somebody like rendered
And then they got a more
CGI.
accurate one. Other people were like, nah, his face looked too skinny in the OG. He kind of had this like, oh God, get this over with look, apparently, according to people that witnessed it. And so they kind of tried to capture that more.
If you ever get a
Okay, so the sketches. This is a very convoluted topic, but essentially this sketch here can be rather young looking, depending on how you view it. If you view a high quality version of it, he does have facial lines and forehead wrinkles and things that would make him look a little older, 40-ish or so. But the problem is when newspapers print it in a very small little box on a newspaper, it is going to be washed out. And so the detail is going to be washed out of the wrinkles. So what ended up happening is we ended up with lots of people calling the FBI with saying, oh, my 23-year-old neighbor came back from Vietnam and he's acting weird. They were getting leads for younger people, which again, Cooper's approximate age, according to the FBI, was 48 years old. Okay, the stewardesses all thought he was mid-40s. Definitely not a young guy, but this sketch inspired lots of young people. Okay, so they decide, and also his skin complexion. 9 out of 10 witnesses thought he was swarthy, olive complexion, dark, medium dark. Okay, so, and then a couple of the eyewitnesses thought he looked Mexican or Native American. So Cooper had a bit of a darker complexion, and you don't see that in this black and white sketch. So they decided to redo the sketch. And without getting into it too much, they basically created another human. And in my opinion, the first sketch was a sketch that all of them signed off on. Okay, and this was drawn from life, with the sketch artist sitting there with the stewardesses, and they assisted him, and they drew what the sketch artist drew what they told him to draw. Okay, and they all approved of it. Okay, they said looks 100% like him. One witness said. Another said it was a fair likeness. You see good likenesses. There wasn't too much complaining. The only complaints were a few complaints where that his nose is a little too pinched, but not by much, they even said. So all the eyewitnesses liked this sketch which was done a few days after the hijacking. Problem is, when they go to make this other sketch almost a year later, the same eyewitnesses say, oh, that's him. It's a great sketch. So yet they're two different people. So which one's more accurate? My belief is that the one that was created days after an event is more accurate. I mean, think about this. If you saw somebody in an airport, is your memory of that person better 3 days later or almost a year later? I mean, it's obvious, right? But they liked both of these sketches. The same witnesses said they look great. Great resemblance, but two different people. Anyway, we'll get back to it.
Mugshot, like printed nationwide, you're gonna want to look as cool as this guy does.
Was he wearing shades on the plane?
He did wear shades.
Pretty baller.
Pretty sick.
Were they like, hey, DB, it's the middle of the night. Why are you wearing?
That's actually a good question.
I guess if a guy has a bomb strapped to his chest, you're not necessarily super concerned with his eyewear.
It wasn't a briefcase, also.
So he's walking around with sunglasses and a briefcase.
Yes.
He looks.
They're like, we got some joker with sunglasses in a suitcase that's.
Well, actually, just being pedantic here, okay, folks. You can bear with me. The DB Cooper Sleuth, I am pedantic, and if you don't like it, then you can leave my channel. But essentially, there was actually never a moment that I know of where Cooper was walking around with sunglasses and carrying his briefcase. Okay, his sunglasses go on after he's on the plane, after he passes the original ransom note. Okay, that's when he puts his sunglasses on around that time. So he was walking around without sunglasses because, I mean, think about this. I mean, if you're walking around the airport with sunglasses on, you're definitely going to draw attention to yourself. So he didn't do that until he became the hijacker on the plane.
Beeping, trying to board this plane, and should we stop him? They're like, nah, it's probably nothing.
You said this was the day before Thanksgiving?
Day before Thanksgiving, 1971.
Which I believe is known as Black Wednesday. You think he was out with his boys earlier that night?
Blackout Wednesday?
It's Black Wednesday.
They're like,
where you go to the bar with your hometown friends.
They-
Maybe he was out in Portland, kind of chopped it up.
He's out at a local watering hole in Portland. The tab gets like way out of hand. They're like, dude, how are we gonna pay for this? DB is like, yeah.
Give me one second.
I got a plan.
Everyone just keep the bartender here as long as possible.
That's funny.
I gotta go to the airport real quick, but I got us covered. That's why none of the money was in circulation. Just one bartender got all of it. Yeah. He's like, they gave me way more than I thought.
I like that theory right off.
Okay, I'm actually laughing at that. That's pretty funny. I like that. That's good. That's good. That's good humor. I like that. I like it so far. That's fun. That's pretty funny.
I think that's a good theory right now.
This might be your hottest start.
Yeah.
My grandma only drinks canned soda because she claims that she went to Wendy's one time and she opened her fountain drink and there was a mouse in it.
It's pretty sick, though. Did you sue the Wendy's?
No, it never happened. She just likes to say it.
Oh.
Can you imagine the bartender's like, what do you want, a Coke?
That can't be a good sign.
It's a little early.
That could mean nothing. Let's do it.
Let's fucking figure this one out. You know, the only thing that keeps me doing these is the prospect of one day, whatever government
Of all time.
agency is like looking over all these cases, stumbles upon one of these videos like, oh shit, I didn't even think of
They're
that.
onto something.
All right, so I thought you would like this as a
I
plane
mean,
guy.
first, I love planes. One wing, it would never work.
No.
What is worth noting here, he sat in seat 18E, and that's the stair thing that dropped down that he would jump out of.
Isn't that baller that they used to load the plane from the back?
No, so those staircases actually existed in Vietnam. You know, they wouldn't shoot at like commercial airliners, and so they could secretly open these staircases and like drop stuff out the back.
It's pretty sick.
And you could control it from the back, and the cockpit couldn't put it back up.
Can we put our
Hey, how about that? So nice for these guys. They understand some things that the cockpit cannot control, as we've seen in my previous video about what did Cooper really know, or was Cooper smart? I guess is the title of that video. Yeah, the cockpit could not control those stairs.
first theory up?
The clue's actually not done.
Cool.
Because in addition to sitting in 18E, he also, when he got there, ordered from Florence.
What? Okay. What? Okay. Now this. What ragamuffin made this? Okay. Cooper's assigned seat. 15C. okay, now I can't really see. This is a 727 that has. Yeah, so they didn't find. It's hard as hell actually to find a map. It's very hard actually to find a map. And I'll give researcher Flyjack some credit there. He's found the only one I've seen that is an accurate map of a 727 that has the 18th row as the back row. Most of them go to row 20, I think. So Cooper didn't have an assigned seat. There was no assigned seating. You just got on the plane. Okay. Also, then they have his second seat there. It's a window seat, so they have him assigned to an aisle seat, which didn't happen. Then they have him suspect second seat is a window seat. And then Tina Mucklow's section, Tina and Flo jointly had the coach section, which is the economy. I don't know who made this. This is strange, but I guess they just found it online,
It's a 7-Up and bourbon.
I want to hate him.
I think we nailed it right away.
Drinking a 7 and 7? This guy fucking rocks. I think a safe bet is he probably served in Vietnam if he knew about this back part.
What year was it, 77?
71.
He started in the aisle so that he had access to the flight attendants. And then once everyone was gone, he moved to the window so that he could spy where he wanted to go. So he could
jump.
I mean, as we said, that no, Cooper, yeah, no. Well, I mean, but again, these guys, not to criticize them, they don't know what they know. I mean, if you made me watch, if you made me do clues on the Gardner heist or something, I wouldn't know. So don't blame these guys. A nice facial expression there, Cat.
know where he is. If this thing's down, he fucking jumped out of the plane. Right?
That's a fair take.
It could also, I also like that, just like, obviously you go for the window if there's no one in the row. So you guys have the chance, if you want to, instead of your next beer, try to get a little bit into the DB Cooper spirit.
Do we want to do this or do we not? I mean, this is gonna fucking stink.
If you're gonna understand where this guy,
Right.
If you're gonna get in his mindset,
So that's clue number 2 is he was drinking.
Drinking 7-7.
and the outline of the plane, so you can see where he was sitting.
Yeah.
I definitely thought you might have some thoughts on 18E.
I do.
I'm gonna make this for you. This will count as your next round.
Okay.
All right.
Do you think it's a twist off? It's a pull.
Right.
Is there a thing on it?
Can I help you out there,
Yep,
bud?
please.
There you go.
That would not have been a good flight attendant.
Oh, it was because the fucking
Yeah,
thing
the
was
thing's
still
on.
on.
I didn't know.
That was beast.
Are we chugging this?
Yeah, dude, we're guys. Actually,
Yeah.
chugging a 7-Up's gonna stink.
Man, this.
God.
This is way worse than beer.
It's super bubbly. It's worse.
Get into it. Clue
Can't
3.
tell if this is gonna hurt or help us, but
It's gonna hurt a lot. All right, nice. Now we're starting to cook with gas here. You want to go first?
I have his ticket, his airline ticket. I don't know
Okay.
what we're supposed to derive from this. First name?
Debus. DB.
Daniel Cooper.
So, fun fact. It's obviously an alias of some kind. There was such a rush to get the article out.
Yeah.
Some eager reporter just got confused and nervous and just wrote DB Cooper. And he wrote Dan Cooper on the ticket. DB was nothing. That was completely made up by a reporter.
Okay, so DB and Dan Cooper, where does this come from? Well, there were some journalists who were overeager and they wanted to get a scoop. And they were listening in on the police frequencies with their little radios. And they were listening over some things. And they came across the sheriff's department there in Portland, in the county there, talking about Daniel Barry Cooper. Okay, because the ticket said Dan Cooper. And who knows, maybe the guy decided to use his real name. People do crazy things. I mean, the guy is hijacking a plane. But anyway, Daniel Barry Cooper was a Vietnam veteran who was a bit troubled in the Portland area, and he went by DB. And so this journalist overhears them saying, hey, check on DB Cooper. And he stuck with that. And they sent a squad car over to DB Cooper's house, and DB Cooper was home at the time. So he was there, like, what's up, guys? But it's very fortuitous, though, because obviously DB Cooper, the mystery of DB Cooper is a lot cooler than, the mystery of Dan Cooper. So it worked out.
All right, I got a note from Daniel, And this is what he handed the flight attendant. Miss, I have a bomb in my briefcase, and I want you to sit by me. He's just looking for company.
He's supposed to hang out.
He's like, nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna take you out. We're gonna have a couple cocktails. We're gonna get to know each other.
He's been at Black Wednesday the entire night too.
He's like, I got
a few drinks
I got
in
a
him.
ragtag group of guys back at the bar. We're gonna parachute out of here and we're gonna have a good time.
Give me a 7 and 7. I'm
me a
gonna
7
take
and
you
7.
back to the bar. It's gonna be
And
a
I
great
won't
time.
send us to fucking heaven.
Exactly. Yeah.
He gives this to her. She assumes that he's like trying to get her number, so she just puts it in her purse and doesn't look at it. And so he has to call her over and say, I really think you should look at that note. I have a bomb.
So embarrassing.
Yeah.
Actually, you didn't read my note. Could you?
Would that work on you if you were a girl at a bar?
If a guy said
Some
that I
guy's
had a
like,
bomb,
I really think you should come out with me. I have a bomb.
1,000%.
There's something really funny about having a bomb. Like
Not using
bombs
it.
themselves are
Yeah.
not funny. But when someone has possession of it, that's the funniest part.
If you don't detonate the bomb, it's fine.
Like
Having a bomb is fine.
it's like it's like
As long as you don't do
better
it.
to have it, not need it.
So she comes over and sits with him then.
Okay.
He flashes the briefcase open, which has what looks like a bunch of sticks of dynamite.
How good at like fake bomb making do you have to be? If I saw any briefcase full of like wires, better
Immediate
safe,
bomb.
than sorry. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
immediate
take your
bomb.
word for it.
Yeah.
In my research, I was reading about like copycats after this. There were like a bunch of people who were like, no fucking way, I'm doing that. And one guy, it said he had a paperweight that looked like a hand grenade.
McCoy.
That was how he successfully hijacked the plane.
That's so sick. You can do it with anything back then.
Yeah.
What did we learn here? We learned that
His real name's Dan.
we learned that his real name's Dan.
Or no,
so he said.
Alias Dan.
That's almost like he like panicked. He got to the airport and like forgot that you had to give a name.
The guy in front of him, his name is Dan. He's like, Dan?
Yeah, and then like a Mini Cooper drives by. He's like, Dan Cooper.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the story of McNally tells that when he boarded his plane and the stewardess was coming down the aisle just saying, hi, where are you guys headed? Where are you guys headed? And Mac froze because he's going to jump out of the plane. He didn't know where, didn't really think about, it didn't matter where the plane was supposed to go because he never intended to go there. But Mac froze and then finally remembered that he was going to Toledo, I guess, or Tulsa, that's it, Tulsa.
You know what's so funny? I was like just kind of dreading this all day, and then you have like 3 drinks. You're like, this is the
best.
this is the
yeah.
American dream.
Yeah. Dude, imagine the power you would feel if you get on a plane with a bomb. You're like, take me to Mexico City.
Yeah.
I'm gonna party my.
And
fucking
originally
ass
he
off.
was like, I'll take me straight to Mexico City. And they were like, we're not going to be able to make it. We have to stop to refuel. So they like negotiated with him. They're like, can we stop in Reno? And he was like, all right, fine.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
I love you.
Love you too.
Boy,
You know what? Here's what this one has a. I mean, I don't want to show my hand here. This is what stacks of money feel like. It'd be
I'd
so
pull a
funny.
DB and just pop out of here. Oh,
What?
spot on. Spot fucking
Very nice
on.
ball. So I want to talk about what he demanded. So he talks to the lady and he tells her, I need $200,000 cash. And he requested 4 parachutes, 2 front parachutes and 2 back parachutes.
Front? Is that one that's like on the front?
I think the front is
Like if you want to do
typically-
like a gainer
Yeah,
out.
no, I think the front is typically like an emergency. So you have like the back one on that's like the more stable one, and then you have like a reserve one.
What's the
Parachutes.
equivalent of that in today's money?
Like $1 million,
Can we pull that up?
probably.
All right, that's
4 or 5 million?
That's good.
Is
wad.
it worth it? You could ask for
1.4
more.
or 5.
One. No, but I think what DB was probably thinking is like most banks
Right, they had to be able
probably
to
have
don't
that.
have that on hand. And he's like, if we get down there and they can't get it, then I'm on the ground for too long and they'll come in and fucking get me. So
Yeah,
that was
true.
like a reasonable amount where it's like the government could probably get that to him ASAP pronto.
And they did.
True.
They circled
Well, they got
around
him the
Seattle
money?
a little bit, and then they landed on the tarmac in Seattle. He waited until the money was brought on board and handed to him.
let's remember though that they said the government brought in the money. The government was not involved in the DB Cooper hijacking really much at all. Back then, the FBI gave you a choice if you were the victim of an extortion or a kidnapping to say, do you want to pay the ransom and we'll find the guy later, or do you want us to intervene and go John Wayning up in there with guns blazing, right? Well, Northwest Orient said, no, we'll just pay the ransom and you can catch them later. So it was Northwest Orient, Northwest Airlines, currently Delta Airlines, who did this. It it was basically an exchange between themselves and an angry customer, essentially, is what it was. So they're the ones who got the money from their local bank that they use there in Seattle, and it was brought there, and the people who handed the money over were Northwest Airlines employees. The government just sat by and watched, really. The actual money exchange, at least, that part.
And then he let all the passengers deboard except the crew had to stay on.
Dude, what are these cops doing? Would you not
He's
bring
a
a
bomb.
SWAT?
No,
would
he's
you,
a bomb.
Yeah, but would you not bring a SWAT team and snipe them?
He's got his hand on the detonator. What if he's like, $200,000 cash, 4 parachutes, 20 minutes of Linda's time.
Cops doing? Would you not
He's
bring
a
a
bomb.
SWAT?
No,
would
he's
you,
a bomb.
Yeah, but would you not bring a SWAT team and snipe them?
He's got his hand on the detonator. What if he's like, $200,000 cash, 4 parachutes, 20 minutes of Linda's time.
It's honestly a red flag he didn't ask for busty women, if I'm being honest.
I think, what separates guys like that from you and I is they're able to keep their eye on the ball. I think you and I would get power hungry and be like, give me a Wendy's 4 for 4 and your busty is agent.
Seattle PD is just searching for busty chicks.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit, guys, we need them.
If they go to the bar for Black Wednesday, they're like, who's busty? Hold up the badge.
badge.
If you have a C cup or higher, get the fuck out here.
All right,
now.
who's busty?
All right, put it on the board.
All right.
But he asked for 4 parachutes. A lot of people have found that a little bit sus.
One for each boob.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I think that he, and this is nothing against people that were alive back then.
Mm-hmm.
They were the dumbest people in the world, no? That time period, they call them the greatest generation. They might have been great, but they were dumb as a bag of rocks. And I think he was like, I know how stupid these people are. If I ask for 4 parachutes, that's enough of a curveball to they're gonna be fixated on that for a night.
Yeah.
And then by the time they figure out why I asked for that, I'm in Mexico City with 200,000. You know what? They never found it. It was scattered across Mexico City's hottest.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he made it.
We don't know how far those parachutes could glide.
That's
That's a good point.
That's why.
All the way to Clay Ellum, if you listen to some people in the Vortex. All the way to Clay Ellum, or maybe all the way to Tina Bar, maybe 10 miles. Maybe Cooper drifted 10 miles. Maybe he drifted 120 miles the other way, if you're a Walter Recker supporter.
The negotiation happened. They're like, we can make it to Reno. He's like, I can make that work. Some guy just.
I will tell you the preeminent theory for why he asked for 4 parachutes is that would imply that he planned to take flight attendants or other people as hostages with him when he jumped. Because if he just asked for 1, they would probably fuck with it so it didn't work.
That's actually the
idea.
perfect answer.
Yeah.
Give me 4.
So it's they're not gonna.
He's probably right. That's probably what he was. He had enough abstract thought to come up with that idea. And then also, asking for multiple parachutes. And I think we know that because I know that other copycat hijackers opened, and if Matt McNally, for example, asked for 6 parachutes, he opened maybe 2 or 3 of them to make sure they weren't screwed with. So you asked for multiple ones for that reason, really, probably. I think the main, so that's,
Gonna roll the dice of letting a flight attendant plummet to her death.
Mm-hmm. Was this just to look cool?
It was just a representation.
cool, though.
I love it. Sorry, that sounded accusatory. I have
No. Yeah. It's swaggy. Swaggy.
do
Yeah.
this? What do rappers do?
Yeah.
That's actually what he did.
There's a picture of
He
DB
immediately
Cooper.
got caught.
So I think our leading theory is still Black Wednesday, partying out with the boys. around
Bar
money.
tab got out of hand.
Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily have a motive yet. I think the real only thing we probably can accept as somewhat of a valid theory. I think he probably served in Korea or worked for an airline. He was familiar enough with this type of plane.
a good point.
What I don't
That's a good point.
understand, back then, there was no flight tracker. What if he just did all this and then it was the wrong plane? He also, if you wanted to go to Mexico City, those do not have enough gas.
Well, that's why they had to stop in Reno.
No, that's what I'm saying.
you should have known that.
Somehow he simultaneously knew a lot about planes, but maybe not a lot.
Yeah.
Or
What's funny is that obviously these guys don't know the case, but they're not wrong, right? They're really not wrong. Cooper is confusing. He's smart with some things, but he's a real doofus with other things. His knowledge is inconsistent, and that really is troubling. I don't think he was doing it on purpose to sow confusion among the FBI or anything, but He is like somebody who knew. FBI agent Larry Carr said D.B. Cooper knew enough to be dangerous to himself and to others. And I like that. Okay. But also, Larry Carr says Cooper was ADHD. And as somebody with ADHD, I can kind of smell that wafting off of Cooper. Okay. He gets easily distracted at times. He gets fixated on things and knows a little bit about a lot, I guess, but not enough. What is it, the Dunning-Kruger effect or whatever it's called? You know, where you think you think you know a lot, but you don't. Cooper's like that. His knowledge really is inconsistent, and that's a real problem with trying to identify who he is. But yeah, I have a whole video on this, so check it out. I believe it's called. I forget my titles, my videos after a while, but I think was DB Cooper smart? I think that's what it's called. But yeah, kudos to this young fella who must be getting pretty drunk at this point, but he's right. Cooper is inconsistent.
He was so knowledgeable about planes that he knew that amount of gas would force them to like reroute to Reno. And so him saying, I want to go to Mexico City was just like a ploy because he knew so much about airline logistics that he was like, they're going to have to go to one of these like 3 neighboring cities to refuel because I demanded that. And that was part of his plan. I just think it sounds like he was throwing a lot of what was the first curveball he threw? 4 parachutes. He's either the smartest guy of all time or he's like the dumbest guy of all time.
I'm starting to feel that 7 and 7. I'm starting to regret it.
Yeah.
It's not sitting well.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good to mix with beer.
Time to map.
Just one map?
This is our favorite segment. Map it up.
Map it up. Is that like Nevada?
And by the way, it's an endorsement to come to CooperCon because this kind of reminds me of some conversations you get at CooperCon, after CooperCon, during the beer drinking part of CooperCon. I am getting reminded of CooperCon. So yeah, come to CooperCon in this November, in Vancouver, Washington. Tickets on sale now.
So he's flying down this way. They get some like radar detections here and here, right around here.
Like he said, they had some communication with him, and then they heard something happen mechanically in the back of the plane that sort of altered the
I mean, they're going the wrong way on this map, but okay.
balance of the plane.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Right
if
around
you
here.
open that back part
Stairs.
and they weren't expecting it, that like completely changes the drag on the bottom part, and it would like throw it.
And so they know that went down, and then something went out of it because it like the tail kind of like went up. And they had to like readjust, and that happened right around here. But they were still too nervous to check if he had actually gone out, so they just kept flying. Likely where he jumped out, based on that, happened very close to Portland, Oregon.
So what do we know? They took off from Seattle, they come down here, and right around this mark, that's where the last time they had contact with him.
Yeah.
The most logical theory as a concrete evidence that he probably was the thing that left the plane.
Yeah.
But just for argument's sake, we're good detectives. Is there anything else that could have left the plane that would have destabilized it?
I mean, it could have been anything. He could have just done that as like a diversion.
They did like sled tests where they would like push weighted sleds out to see if it would have the same impact on like simulated or recreated flights.
Nothing?
No, they just found out it was like 200 pounds of something.
He seems like a pretty light guy, though,
He
right?
is, but think about it, he's holding a duffel bag of $200,000, which is 20, 30 pounds.
You could have
20
told me
pounds.
like 100 pounds, and I would have believed you.
Okay, for argument's sake, it's max 50 pounds, give or take. So if he's, how much do you weigh?
Like 180.
You're gonna have a similar face to him. But
He
you
looks like he
both-
looks like my
you both
grandpa
got-
a little bit, if I'm being honest. Actually, I changed my last name from Cooper.
Never.
There will be no doubt, if you are a human being, that one of these sketches looks like your grandfather. Okay. There are enough sketches of D.B. Cooper where basically he could fit anybody, any middle-aged man alive, any young man alive at the time, could fit a D.B. Cooper sketch. You can tell nothing from those sketches.
Now that I think
Never
about
worked a
it.
day in his life. We were always very well
You're talking
off.
about Grandpappy Dick Balls Cooper?
So let's say maybe he's the average? The average man is 5'9", 150 pounds. He's holding a 40-pound thing. I would say, for argument's sake, it's almost surely him.
I have a quick theory. Have you guys ever seen Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah,
Leo
guys.
DiCaprio. What do you guys know about Frank Abagnale?
I know Frank Abagnale.
Pilot. Does he look kind of like that guy a little bit? Swooped hair.
Yeah.
A noted con man, noted pilot. He was.
But he never flew the plane. He just pretended to be a pilot.
This guy never flew the plane either. He was good at getting money.
damn good point.
He was good at getting money when it means that we're
my God.
unorthodox.
Frank.
They're not the first people to have made Frank Abagnale a connection, but Frank was way, way too young to be Cooper. Cooper was an older guy, okay? He was using old slang, like, no funny stuff, see? And the flight attendants, one of the flight attendants said one of the flight attendants said Cooper had a wrinkled, older mouth, okay? He had, forehead wrinkles and things, and he wasn't wearing makeup, okay? No, but yeah, Frank was way too young. But, Cooper was a kind of a con man in a way.
Abagnale
Is Dan Cooper.
I don't hate that at all. You want to throw it on the board?
I'll throw it on the board. Give it to me.
So, new theory in the clubhouse. Famous con man Frank Abagnale was potentially DB Cooper. That's actually not. Can we
I think
Google?
he operated around the same time too.
Are we allowed to use Google?
You get one Google and you already used it.
Well, you didn't tell us.
I haven't used my Google
That's
yet.
been the same. Yeah, he could use his Google.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was convicted and sentenced to probation in 1969. He was
So
on
he was
probation
out.
when this happened.
He wasn't in jail.
Yeah.
I think it might hold some water.
It's the leading theory in the clubhouse.
Okay, so here we go. Here's a test here, guys. Okay, I have been promoting. It's been a minute. Okay, so it's been a couple years now where I have changed the Wikipedia page. I have been shouting at the top of my lungs. The cigarette butts are not lost. The cigarette butts were destroyed by the FBI. Okay, so we're gonna see. Has my influence on the Wikipedia page and on the Cooperdom spread? It's permeated to where people will no longer say they're lost. Fingers crossed.
I don't think we're gonna figure out who it was like we did with the Zodiac, where we list a bunch of possible people.
Where
I think
we
the idea
nailed the
more-
exact person.
I think because here.
Not with that attitude, we're not.
You're setting the bar pretty low here.
You're right.
I feel like we've already done
I
that.
think that you're forgetting. You're talking to guys that literally found out what happened to the Malaysian Airlines flight.
True. We can't forget JFK either. Lee, Harvey, and Oswald. Never trust a guy with 2 names. Never trust a guy with 3 names.
One name, you're fine.
Usher.
Kesha.
Yeah.
Diddy.
Adele.
Adela. Diddy. All right, let's just do it. Why not?
Let's get on with it.
God almighty.
What do you think? Any other stuff? There was.
Ooh, next he dropped it.
Oh, no, sorry, it's a Raleigh filter tip.
So what we're looking at
Cigarette?
here.
Gave her that Raleigh filter tip.
The thing that matters in an investigation is the physical evidence, right? So this is everything that was left on the plane. In Mr. Cooper's seat was his clip-on tie. This is a photo of it. That's a recreation of it.
This might poke a hole in our military idea. I feel like they teach you how to tie a tie in the military.
Or he's throwing it's another classic DBC, which of course Will is a DB
Cooper.
curveball. Where he's saying they're gonna know I have knowledge of these things, but what military man can't tie a tie? None. I think his thing was I'm gonna throw as many curveballs as possible.
Yeah.
So that I can just get far enough away, and then
He wants to escape. They're not going to
Yes.
look for any
Yeah,
military
exactly.
members at all.
Right.
Be like, this guy can't tie a tie. Clearly not a member of the military. They don't look for him there at all.
could you humor me and put this on?
Humor me.
Okay, so there you are. There he is.
All right, you're having a hard time to convince me this guy doesn't fucking rock. This guy's awesome. I think there's no way this bomb was real, right? If he's smoking,
I don't know.
Almost half a pack of cigarettes around it.
I think that people back then had no concept of flammable things. Like you were smoking at gas stations. You were smoking on the.
Yeah, that's true.
We learned.
Okay, so bomb being real, bomb being fake. More than likely it's fake. Okay, it didn't need to be real, right? And there was no reason for it to be a real bomb, but it was a damn good, convincing bomb. In fact, Tina Mucklow got a really good look at it and was pretty good about remembering how the wirings were done and everything. And the bomb has been replicated, and it would have gone off. If that was dynamite, the battery had enough amps or volts, whichever it is, to bust blasting caps on dynamite. And the wiring and everything has been recreated by some ordnance guys, I believe with the military maybe, a few years ago, just for fun, and it went off. So it didn't need to look that real. There's no reason for it to look that real, but it would have worked if it was real. So, I mean, we get to a real dark place with Dan Cooper if it was real. I'll say that. But Cooper was adamant that he was not being taken off the plane that day. He told the stewardess, "I'm not being taken off the plane. I'll die essentially, and I'll bring down everybody with me who gets in my way." Basically, is what he was saying. So it could have been real, but and look, maybe he didn't. Maybe a bomb will blow your body apart, and maybe he didn't want to be identified. There was a skyjacking in Australia. I want to say after the Cooper hijacking, I think so, because I was researching Cooper copycats and I came across this guy. I think it was Australia's very first hijacking, I think ever. And they couldn't identify the killer. And I'm pretty sure that they either put a photograph of he was killed by the police, and he had no paperwork on him or anything. And I'm pretty sure they put his image, his dead body face, on the paper. It may have been a drawing of his dead body face, but again, different era. They would have done this. So maybe he wanted to blow himself up to save his family from shame if he was killed or if it went awry. But I don't know. Probably fake. Did need to be real. But mystery. But I don't know. I would say probably fake. I would say 20% real, 80% fake. And the only reason I think it could have been real is because he was adamant that I'm going to die here today if I have to. Okay, so, and it looked real enough, and it would have worked if it had been real. He had no need to make it that real.
Learned years later that those things are essentially flying bombs, and that guy is chiefing away.
Yeah.
He's next to his own bomb. And the more that I talk it out, it had to have been fake. Let's really hone in on the Raleighs here.
Smoke Raleigh cigarettes.
Is that a picture of William Shakespeare? Am I wrong?
I think
believe
you're
that's
right.
Sir Walter Raleigh.
Sure. And that is,
Do you wanna-
as we all know.
Do you want to handle this, or do you want me?
I mean, I know it. Do you want to explain Walter Raleigh to him?
I think he settled North Carolina.
You knew that was Sir Walter Raleigh?
He's from
That's.
Charleston.
I was gonna say that's great research, though.
The interesting part about the tie is maybe that he didn't really make any other mistakes. Like the notes, he went out of his way to collect all the notes back that he had written. He was very meticulous.
Oh, wait, really?
But then he leaves his tie. It's like, what is that?
I think you're probably right. I think he was smart enough to realize that maybe they had like handwriting matching technology back then, but they didn't have like DNA or anything. So like them having his tie,
Yeah.
I think he was like, that's a throwaway. Like the risk to reward, the risk is like on the way down, you're just like, but I don't know. I don't think that that's even like sloppy. I think it's almost like a calling card. They're like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay, probably the tie is just a brain fart. That's kind of what I think about it. I say it a lot, that I think that what do men do when we take a tie off? We throw it on the nearest thing. Okay, a dresser, a bed, a couch, whatever, a dog. You throw it on the closest thing that's around. Okay, and it's just almost a reflex. And I'm certain that when Cooper took his tie off, he probably intended to just roll it up and put it in his pocket or something, because he didn't want to leave anything on the plane, and I don't think he would have wanted to leave his tie on the plane. Okay, just nothing at all on the plane. And so I think it was just a brain fart. He just had other things on his mind, clearly, when he took the tie off, like not dying in the next few minutes and making sure I have this money with me on the way down. So I think it's just a brain fart. It wasn't a calling card. He's not, this isn't, this is not some villain in Sherlock Holmes, okay? He's not that smart. He's not thinking that far ahead. He's not calling a calling card. It's not the Wet Bandits either, okay, from Home Alone. But just a brain fart on the tie, I think.
If he was gonna do it again, and they were gonna be like the black tie bomber.
I was gonna ask, what did we gain from this?
We learned. This is what we learned.
I'm gonna take the tie off.
Yeah, I think that he is a smart guy who was trying to pose as a dumb guy.
Yeah.
So we put the clip on. That'll give him an extra 12 hours of them being, what the fuck does that mean? Any military man would know how to tie a tie, so he's trying to throw them off. That makes me think he's even more military.
Yeah.
Oh, this is probably just fucking brutal to listen to.
No, I don't think so. But lots of people like this.
What do you think would happen if you brought real dynamite to this office? Do you think they would fire you?
No, dude, I
think
my backpack is outside filled with that.
Boys, well, so they didn't talk about the cigarette butts. Okay, that stinks. I would have liked to have known what they thought about that. And boy, yeah, these fellas are. This is reminding me of like the Sigma Nu days. Okay, these guys are getting a little tipsy.
Dynamite. Nobody's checked it once.
I think they're drunk actually at this point.
I got a proposal for you.
Yeah.
Let's fucking find this guy.
I think we should do it.
Tired of him being out there.
Good luck.
Fucking that rat fuck. You guys might not think he looks like my grandpa. I'm gonna get a picture of my grandpa, and we're gonna see.
We'll put a picture of Cason's grandpa right here.
Come on.
Was that my fastest one?
Yeah, it was really good.
Boy.
What do you got there?
Your guess is as good as mine.
If you put a gun to my head and you said you have to get within shouting distance of like what this is, I would I don't even have.
How about that one?
It's the bathtub. It's the famous bathtub particle that Tom K found. I don't know what that even means. All of the tie particle stuff is way over my head. So
This looks like a bomb with some like a torpedo, maybe. Is that one of those big drinks you get in Vegas with the straw at the top?
So these are results of like a forensic, or maybe not
Didn't
forensic,
I say
but-
DNA? The first thing that I said was
Yeah, it wasn't DNA, but they were basically testing for particles found on the tie. So what we learned from the results of this testing was that microscopic pieces of titanium were found on his tie. Yarn!
Yarn me, brother!
I want to read this verbatim so I don't say it wrong, but titanium was a strategic metal primarily used in military aircraft, some civilian aircraft, and highly corrosive industrial plants.
That is the smoking gun right now, and let me tell you why.
Give it to me.
Titanium is connected to one of these two things. If it is only found in industrial use, like commercial airliners, or military use, Vietnam, I think that was our beer one theory.
Yep, number one.
Military man, but I actually am gonna go a step further. I think it's more dependent on the airline aspect of it. Because here's the deal. For him to know that it was gonna be this specific plane and that it was gonna go this specific route and that rerouting to Reno would still accomplish his goal of landing him where he wanted to go, I think he was either an air traffic control guy, worked for the airline, or like our boy Sky King, which we talked about, worked on the tarmac.
That's a pretty good point, actually.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a pretty good point.
So I think
he probably learned about the bombs in Vietnam because the Viet Cong were very direct about like bombs at hidden places too, and he maybe like something switched. He's like,
Yeah.
I can use this technology.
So, really, they're not. I mean, again, who the hell knows who D.B. Cooper is? We don't know crap. We're just all making this stuff up. We're, guessing. But they're not so far off on a lot of things. Especially his knowledge. Like he didn't seem like a commercial airline pilot, but he seemed to know some airline-y things. And so there was some thought maybe he was ground crew for an airliner, for an airline company, something like that. Ground crew or maintenance, whatever. Or air traffic controllers were investigated. Absolutely, air traffic controllers were definitely investigated. And one thing Cooper seemed to know is how to, he calls the pilots out later on in the hijacking about IFR clearances and flight plans. When do you file a flight plan and things like this. And so Cooper did know that. So he was either, but again, maybe he learned this stuff. Maybe he's all bluffing. Maybe who knows. But could have been an airline employee who was not a pilot. Not a terrible theory.
And for my good.
we don't know that is fact, but
Vietnam.
we know that he has somehow been. Bless you. That one sounded. Did you shit yourself? There's one.
Probably not.
There was one winter break where I shit myself twice. My mom thought I was dying.
She thought you were dying because you shit yourself.
Twice in one winter break? That's like a week and a half.
It's 3 times a month where it gets dicey.
I haven't gotten diarrhea since 07.
How when you were 7?
No, 07.
Oh, how old? What year were you born?
97.
Jeez Louise.
Don't act like that.
No, I'm not. I thought we were the same age. That's, if anything, that's like good. Like I thought you were like our age.
Like I look like you're.
You look like you're like 24.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
Just kidding me, brother.
Drinking the beer, we're solving the case, and we're drinking the beer. Cold cases and colder drinks.
Do it quieter.
Rusty's gonna love this one.
Do you want the good news or the bad news?
I want the truth.
There's a lot of words.
Okay. You ready?
Go for it.
This is basically a timeline of what happened on the flight.
Hey. Norjack.org, baby. All right. There we go. Norjack.org, my website. That is the Chris Cunningham's. Chris Cunningham's the one who typed all these words, so shout out to you, Chris. That is the Chris Cunningham timeline. Very good on norjack.org. My website, norjak.org. You can read all these files. You can read all the witness testimony. You can see about suspects on there. You can see the flight path. You can see all of the particles found on the tie if you were into scientific stuff. So yes, look at them using my Norjack. How about that?
He jumped out.
At 8:02, Flight 305 reports total air temperature as -7 degrees centigrade. That is equivalent to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Harrison notes Carl Griffin, Bob Lowenthal, and Stuart McLean and NWA. What?
Wait, that's just
Dude,
like
they were with the Ice
Coming
Cube?
straight out of Compton.
Fucking Dr. Dre was on this flight too?
DB Cooper is in the front, and then like Eazy-E's in the back, and they're all like dissing each
That's
other.
why he needed 4 parachutes. He had to save Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E.
Read that first one you read is pretty important.
Total air temperature is measured by a temperature probe mounted on the fuselage of an aircraft. It is the outside air temperature plus the rise in temperature due to an increase in speed.
It's more important. Look at how fucking cold it was.
20 degrees? That's completely normal for how high they are. That's, if anything, it's warm.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying it's cold as shit. When the guy's jumping out of the airplane,
That's why it works.
he didn't ask for a helmet, he didn't ask for goggles, he didn't ask for gloves.
I mean,
Well,
that's
he's got those cool sunglasses.
8:05, pilot reports that he has tried twice to contact Cooper unsuccessfully via the interphone. I'm assuming that's like the PA. Maybe, oh, you know what? There used to be phones on like the back of your seat that you could
call people?
You could call people. And so he tried to call his seat unsuccessfully, probably because he was supposed to be on the aisle and he was in the window. Then they used the PA system to get his attention. He finally came on the interphone and said everything is okay. At 8:11, they are getting some oscillations in the climb indicator and that Cooper must be doing something with the stairs. The important thing to note is that unless he was like some sort of mastermind and found things that they wouldn't notice were missing, it is 99.9% that he and his belongings and the parachutes and the money were the missing thing that set that up.
I also, a big reason I wanted to bring that up was the first thing about the temperature. There were a lot of people who are like, he fucking froze to death.
Willie, if he had jumped out and immediately froze to death, he would have landed in like the forest. Like they've searched this radius, I'm sure, over and over and over again. Like a body with the bag of $200,000 would be.
Walk down the road in 20-degree weather. You're not going to freeze to death. Okay, it takes a little longer than that.
The
plot of a 2006 movie starring Dax Shepard and Matthew Lillard without a paddle.
I am right now heavily leaning towards I think he got away.
Well, how come no bank ever reports the serial number of any of that money?
So is that confirmed they marked every serial number?
They photographed every bill that they gave him.
I mean, you could trade that with somebody, like some seedy character for gold, I would assume. But
then if that guy spends it, even if they don't track him down through it.
So I think both can be true. Maybe he got away with it and also realized that he was not going to be able to spend any of the
But what did he do like the rest of his life though?
Well, he went back to whatever he was doing. He never got caught.
But they know what he looks like.
What if he opened up the paper? He's like, I'm so fucked. And it looks nothing like him. He's like, cool.
Both of his eyes are straight.
He looks like Willie.
Whatever.
Remember I said none of the money ever turned up in circulation or in the bank or anything? I might have buried the lead a little bit.
because it didn't turn up at a bank or in circulation. But in 1980, 8-year-old Brian Ingram, he's playing on the beach right around here, and he finds 3 bundles of cash.
What's a bundle?
It was each one was worth, I don't know, had 100.
Sorry, in my hood we call it a rack.
Okay, 3 racks. It was $5,800 in cash in 3 separate
6,000.
bundles. 2 of the bundles had 100 bills. One of them had 90 bills. So there was some amount of money missing from one of the bundles, and they were all 3 together buried in the sand along the river. Also, huge detail, serial numbers match up. This is confirmed to be the money that was given to D.B. Cooper.
Is there a world where Brendan Ingram.
Brendan. Brandon.
Whatever. The kid fucking finds it.
Brian Ingram.
If you found cash, you're not taking a little bit of it.
No.
You're taking all of it. So the person that found it and took 10 bills out is someone that must have had knowledge that this was sour money. If you found money on the beach, that is the most surefire, like, I'm taking all of that and I'm asking no questions. The only reason
it was still in rubber bands too, and they disintegrated when he picked them up.
I think he jumped out and 5,800 sprayed out and like.
But why would 3 individual bundles all be together?
I have a kind of
I don't know.
a kind of a second theory on there.
Well, so just for anybody who doesn't know the case that well, basically, it's our understanding from actually interviewing the guy who saw the money from the bank, who oversaw the operation to put the money in the bag, just like that behind me. It's a replica of it. That the bank was bundling. Okay, that what happened is, paper straps. You get paper straps on the packets. So it's our understanding that the Cooper ransom was 5 packets of 100 bills of 20. So $2,000 a piece, $2,000 packets, bundled with rubber bands into sets of 5. So $10,000 bundles that were rubber banded together. Okay, that is our understanding from the guy who was there. Okay, that's what the bank did. But we can't know for sure. But they didn't, because they didn't actually photograph the money as it went to Cooper. So maybe there were bundles that had 3. I don't think so though, because if you have $200,000, you don't. That's just kind of a weird thing to have bundles of 6. I mean, to have bundles of $6,000, but. So we just don't know. It's a mystery, but that's why the 3 packets were found together, is because they were bundled in groups of packets. Okay, so.
As well. And not to harp on the whole Black Wednesday thing, but this guy was clearly a drinker, clearly a vet. He goes to Black Wednesday, he needs money. He goes up, gets $200,000 cash, dives off. He buries it in the beach in Oregon, Washington, wherever he is.
I don't know that. I don't think it was a
He's
glider.
a skilled military veteran. I'm sure he can fly a parachute pretty well.
I don't think you can aim those.
You can unless it has.
No, I think if you can go like this, you can definitely aim where
Not
you
much.
I think what we're trying to say is we don't know if it was this. Also, why is yours up here? I always picture them down here.
No, have you ever been on a parachute before?
Tomato.
No, have you parachuted?
I parachuted twice.
You waited until the 9th beer to be like, I have experience doing this.
Well, this is the only time it's come in like pretty good handy.
But
so
the whole case has been the thing with the.
Yeah, but it's not like I've never never had a bomb.
What
on
were
a
you
plane.
what the fuck?
All
were you
right,
saying?
so you can go pretty far on a parachute. I think it's pretty feasible he made it to the beach. Is he
Wait,
gonna
Kason, I love you, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't think that is feasible. You're
Okay.
thinking of a different parachute. Like I think
Okay.
these ones it's like the circular ones where it's like wherever you are, it stops, and like maybe the wind takes you one way or another. But like,
let's say
So these were military emergency bailout rigs. Okay, they did not have. Get the term for it, but yeah, you weren't able to steer them. Okay, now really experienced parachuters can pull on the risers a little bit and make them go a little direction, but not anything like you would imagine, like skydivers doing. Okay, so a really skilled paratroopers can manipulate the risers a little bit to move around certain things, but not. It's difficult, and again, it's at nighttime. He can't see what he's trying to avoid anyway. So, yeah.
hypothetically he made it to the beach. you're not gonna keep all the money in one place because people find your money, they're gonna take it all. And it was only taken out for special occasions, and he only spent it at places that, for the reason that he got the money in the first place.
He's got tabs all over town.
He only got the money for drinks at a bar. He's only gonna use the money for drinks at a bar.
Right.
As soon as USA beats the Soviets, 1980, he's like, I'm gonna buy everybody around. This is a reason to celebrate. I'm gonna get some cash out. I'm gonna dig it up. I'm gonna pull like whatever, how much money was gone, a grand.
Less, yeah.
I'm gonna spend it at the bar.
But you guys are positive he's alive.
That's why we think he's alive. Is
He
that like, they
purposely
didn't find a
buried the
body?
money.
They would find.
Right.
They would
Yeah.
find something. Unless bears, if we consider bears.
The bears are burrowing cash.
A lot of people
We're gonna say
thought
loves
maybe
are
it-
beavers.
You know, it like washed down the riverbed and ended up there.
I think he landed safely. I'm almost positive of that.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
maybe he had people waiting for him. He had like a crew deep enough to hide most of it, and then they were like, "We're one guy short," and he's like, "My cousin Ryan." I
Suppose we can go with Ryan.
And Ryan's like, "I'm gonna put it on the beach."
All right, I have a new theory. DB Cooper makes it out unscathed, meets a lady. He's like, hey, I have all this money. Has a kid. He names his kid Brian Ingram.
Well, Brian Ingram got half of he split that.
Wait, but isn't all
That's
the
his
money
plan.
gone?
No, it was still salvage. I think as long as it's like half usable.
What?
Like if you find a dollar that's been cut in 60-40, the 60 part counts. Well, I was gonna say the idea of him having people like there waiting for him is like.
So what he had read something and he's trying to understand it, but basically when Brian found the money, okay, there were my math is so bad. However many bills there were. Basically, the question was who does it belong to? Well, the insurance company. Okay, so Northwest Airlines was insured by Royal Globe Indemnity, and for things like this. And so even though Northwest Airlines withdrew $200,000, or they did a wire transfer to their bank in Seattle for $200,000, a claim was later made, with their insurance company to be reimbursed for the $200,000, and it went to court, and it eventually made its way to the Supreme Court of Minnesota. And they said that the insurance company had to pay out. So the insurance company did pay out. And so when the money was found, a federal judge determined that half of basically the FBI could keep 13 of these bills for evidence reasons. And then the rest would be divided between Brian Ingram, or their family, the Ingram family, and the insurance company. And so as it happened, one day in, it might have been like 1986 by this point, maybe even later, Brian Ingram and his dad and his mom go to the Portland FBI office, and there is some guy there from the insurance company, and all these bills are laid out on a table, and they flip a coin to see who gets to go first, and they go back and forth picking out the bills. So obviously you want the best bills first, so they go back and forth, and Brian Ingram told me once that the insurance company guy was getting really pissed off at Brian's dad because Brian's dad, Slim, was really analyzing which bills to take. Of course, the insurance company guy could give a rip, but Slim understood that you could resell these, and Brian still sells these occasionally. So, you can sell them for a lot of money. So it's just funny, this idea of the DB Cooper money ending up on a table in the FBI office. And this, 6'4" fella from Arkansas and Oklahoma's staring in deep thought, which bills do I take? And this insurance company guy from probably Manhattan's like, come on. But that's what happened. DB Cooper's money ended up on a table in Portland, they flipped a coin for it. So there you go.
Like, he didn't know even that they were going to stop in Reno. He didn't know the exact flight.
That was our original theory.
Is that he did know.
He did know.
Yeah.
And that the whole Mexico theory. Ooh. Well,
Mexico theory.
No, I just want to talk to you for a second.
I'm trying my fucking hardest here, and when you do that, you undermine me in front of Casey. It makes this whole thing fucked.
Sorry, I totally zoned out. What?
won, but I think you technically won because I swallowed about 2 ounces.
I think you should drink your beer.
When you kind of undermine me there, then like I lose all credibility. Can I tell you a secret? No. I'm gonna tell you one quick secret. Okay. The secret's on my lips. You're not gonna hate it. I'm not gonna like it one bit. Because I'm not gonna hate it or I'm not gonna like it. Just tell me this. You're gonna hate it. It sounds like I'm just gonna be okay with it. You just tell me.
You never had a secret. All right, 1 or 2.
2.
Okay, so these are, look at this, and tell me that this is a valuable clue for 2 guys that have had, how many beers? 10 beers?
What we're looking at here is a test that was run by some people who are way too into this shit. These are all rubber bands, and this is like after they were left out.
Yeah, Tom K, I think Tessa Lauren and Nikki Broughton did rubber band tests. I think these are Tom K's. So yes, people are way too into it, I guess. They're not wrong. Guilty as charged.
Outside in comparable temperatures. After 234 days, almost all of the rubber bands had completely disintegrated. So that means that
I see what you're saying.
hijacking.
I see what you're saying.
So they had to have been buried to have been preserved that well.
Willie, that actually brings up a very good point.
Yeah.
Where I think our brains immediately went to, he landed and immediately gave the cash to someone.
Yeah.
There was a world where he landed, made it to some like hideaway house, and then their block was getting too hot, and then 8 months or 7 months and some change, they went and buried him, and that would have still had their rubber bands intact. So he couldn't have buried them.
What it means more is that it didn't wash down the river.
Yes, that, okay,
And,
sorry. Can someone give me a pat on the back that I knew something was up?
Okay, so, yeah, again, Tina Barr is almost as big of a mystery as who this guy was, how'd this money get there, and also our research done by scientist Tom Kay indicates that the money did not get wet in the wintertime, okay? There are species of diatoms in the spring that bloom in the Columbia River, and there are species that bloom in the wintertime. And analysis done on this money indicates that the money did not get wet in the wintertime. So that money did not enter the water when the hijacking occurred in November. Okay, so, but yeah, he brings up a point that, you know, everyone has Tina Barr theories of how the money got to Tina Barr. It's just a crazy thing. And, you know, one that I've endorsed, that, not really endorsed, but one that I think's possible is that we know that D.B. Cooper was generous. He offered flight attendants money. He offered one of the flight attendants at least $2,000, and she rejected it because she said, "Oh, sir, we cannot accept gratuities on the airline." But he seemed to be generous, obviously. Think about this. Cooper did not have a $200,000 problem that he needed solving because he was willing to give his money away on the plane. So he didn't have a $200,000 problem. And so possibly, perhaps, Cooper gave a bundle or some of the money to a person who gave him a ride. Maybe he hitchhiked. A guy in a suit. That's one benefit to being in a suit is you're more reputable. You have more credibility. You're not some ruffian. So maybe somebody in a suit hitchhiking is going to, you know, get somebody to help him out. And maybe Cooper says, "Take me somewhere," and when he exits the car, he throws a bundle of money into the car and says, "Thanks for the ride," and runs off. Or maybe he left it in the car as like a thank you to the person when they weren't looking. And then maybe later on, this person goes, "Oh my God, this is the hijacker money," and throws it out the window or something. I mean, who knows, right? But yeah, I would say that D.B. Cooper himself would not know how the money got to Tina Barr. In fact, if he was alive in 1980, I would suspect that he thought, "I'll be damned. I wonder how that got there."
Yes, he definitely knew something was up. So the idea is that they were buried.
They were in someone's
They were buried
possession.
by a...
Okay.
And that explains the 3 bundles on top of each other. So
It's like
I got a
one-
theory.
Hit me.
Isn't that the
40th?
best feeling?
Yeah.
So good.
When you're like, we're sitting there, we were kind of spinning our tires there for a little
Sure
bit.
were.
I got a theory. So, here's what. Oh my God.
Do you want any of these too?
Wait, I lost it. I lost it.
Actually,
Wait, shut the fuck up. I lost it. What were we just talking about?
Rubber bands, the 5 guys.
Five guys. Yes.
Okay. I'm about to give you this. Like, we genuinely solved the last one.
Yeah.
I literally think this is like.
Got it.
I'm not going to tell you who did it, but I think this is generally going to explain this.
Okay.
He lands, right? He gives 5,800, which is like a weird number, and he takes 1,000 out of one of the wads to like even throw more for a loop, and he gives it to a guy he really trusts in the Pacific Northwest, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm heading either south." I don't know where he went. He went to another country and he disappears, and he goes, "In 8 years or 7 years or however long, bury this in like an obvious place on the beach. Any progress they've made into finding where I am, that's gonna reset them." Because now they have a new piece of evidence that like doesn't make any sense. You know what they like Navy SEALs say that like having like American currency is like the strongest thing in the world. Like if you have $20 American currency, like you can get anywhere, whatever. So he's like, we're gonna bury this in any leads they've made that'll throw them for a loop and think that like, how the fuck did this end up here? And then he's in like Peru or Argentina. Yeah. But like, dude, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you telling me this is a classic DBC?
It's a DBC, a DB Cooper deception, brother.
Okay, yeah, that volcano had nothing to do with it.
Shock on this one? Like, look, why are we pouring it into a glass if we're gonna chug it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh god.
So cool.
That's actually nice.
I don't want to make like probably the best point of the night while we're doing this, but when you come into a lot of money at once, what do most people do? Car? Open up a chain of restaurants, bar and restaurants.
Actually not a bad idea.
Yes. DB. Do you guys know any other popular bar and restaurants with the initials DB?
Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's, my brother. This guy found $1.45 million, and he's like, guess what? I'm gonna let people play games. I'm gonna let people shoot the hoop. I'm gonna let people get a couple of drinks.
Right.
I'm gonna let people get some wings, some appetizers, and I'm not gonna feel bad about what I did.
These guys are savages, man.
Oh, that was ass.
Get into that 11th clue, boys. That is Mount St. Helens.
Right.
So this is Portland down here, right? So this is like where everything went down, is all right around there. Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980. Devastating. Dozens of people died. Took out huge swaths of the wilderness. To answer your question about it's impossible that he died because they would have found everything. Like, if they didn't find him within the first 9 years, it's entirely plausible it was completely wiped out.
I don't think there was a ton of lava though, right? Just a bunch.
I think if you and I speculated on how much lava there was, we'd be lying to ourselves. Here's
Okay, so people do bring this up. Okay, it does come up because of the proximity to the drop zone of Mount St. Helens. They said, well, maybe evidence is covered up, and that does come up a lot. But if you look at the news and then also talk to people who live in the area, a lot of people who live in the area, Cooper is a big deal to them. They'll tell you that there was no real ash covering that area because the winds blow to the east. So the ash cloud covered things to the east of Mount St. Helens, not where the flight path, not where Cooper would have jumped. Okay, so negligible at all. Any burial. So yeah, Mount St. Helens had no effect on D.B. Cooper stuff at all that was buried or stashed or lost, whatever.
Here's the thing. Do I think that this is going to be a leading theory in the clubhouse? No. Do all good detectives throw anything at the wall and see what sticks?
Of course.
Yes.
I have a theory, and it is probably to date the dumbest theory pitched on Scared and
Impaired, yeah.
Cold cases, sorry. What was happening in the 60s? Comic books were coming out. Superman, Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider. There are all these things where, in order to become a superhero, some sort of chemical reaction needed to happen. Is there a world where D.B. Cooper was like, superheroes are hot, there's no lava man, like all the boxes were checked. He was like, Mount St. Helens is ready to erupt. If I hit it at the moment of eruption, I will become Lava Man. And he targeted that and tried to parachute directly into Mount St. Helens to become Lava Man.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, it almost seems like one of the worst theories I've ever heard. And I don't want to be brash because Mount St. Helens was like 9 years after.
Actually, Walter Recca being D.B. Cooper is a worse theory than that. So yes.
Correct, yeah.
DB Cooper. So if he flew his parachute into Mount St. Helens, he'd have chill there for roughly 9 years before anything exploded. Which I'm not saying no to your theory. I'm just saying I feel like we're cooking with gas with him trying to pay the bar tab and not become Lava Man, some sort of a superhero.
I'm going to go with Lava Man ahead of Walter Recca. In perpetuity, Lava Man's more likely than Walter Recca being DB Cooper. Yeah. Lava Man.
You know when your mom is like, go say, like, you're like a little kid, they're like, go say hello to those kids, like, what's the worst that can happen? That was the worst.
Right,
that was the worst thing that could happen.
Put yourself out, yeah.
Yeah. Are we close?
What were you and I talking
This
about
is your last
before?
beer.
Yeah, but are
what?
we close to finding him?
Yeah, wait, we were, but I forget. It was the...
Hijacked a plane on Black Wednesday, got hammered with his friends. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get a lot of money. He ends up getting way more money than he ever thought at. 200K. He's like, guess what? I can open up a chain of arcade restaurants with this kind of cash. And you know what he did? He planted a little seed, because the best thing about any heist is the clues.
Well, they get off on like leaving clues. Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna name my restaurants Dave and Buster's. I'm gonna hire two little puppets named Dave and named Buster to run my restaurants for me. I'm gonna live the high life out in
Where do you find
South
a guy
America.
named Buster, though?
Dude, they're crawling around everywhere.
Right.
If you shake one stick in Portland, Oregon, you're gonna find 10 guys named Buster. My final conclusion, it could be different than yours, is that DB, aka Dan Cooper, died in Argentina along with the Nazis, and his friends Dave and Buster are carrying along his legacy, and they're bad guys operating on bad money. We should investigate D&Bs.
I think we got it.
I think you guys actually did solve it. Careful.
All right, we did it.
Okay, all right. So, yes, interesting theories from the boys. Again, Lava Man, not terrible, not worse than Walter Recca. Dave and Buster's not worse than Walter Recca. Pairing the bar tab, not worse than Walter Recca. Sorry I'm picking on Walter Recca, but, got to pick on some things. Okay, well, there you have it, folks. So that was interesting. That wasn't bad, honestly. That was kind of fun. They were funny. Lots of burps. Lots of F-bombs, but these are the things you expect from the frat boys, which these kind of guys kind of remind me of. But, they had some good observations, actually, and some intelligent observations about Cooper being an oddball, Cooper seeming to have really inconsistent knowledge. Not terrible, but hey, I have reacted to worse videos for sure. These guys weren't bad, and honestly, their info was not inaccurate, really. Minor things. I mean, really minor. Really, the only major inaccuracy that I saw was, at least I remember over the last hour, was at the beginning they found some graphic that shows Cooper was sitting on the aisle seat on the other side of the plane. I don't know where they got that from. But again, if you don't know the case, then you just have to do what you got to do, So anyways, well, that's all I've got for today, folks. So I hope you enjoyed that. So like and subscribe and all that YouTube-y stuff, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.